Hello, OSAS believer. This is Daniel, and I'm sorry that I kind of disturb you in a certain way. I mean, I guess you believe in the tribulation and the end of the world happening in 2022, but I believe that this is also a possibility. However, this is not to say that we predict the times and that we should say that this is what God plans has a plan for us because, well, you know, God's timing is not our timing. And we all gotta see that in God's eyes. And we cannot see anything in God's eyes, but we all gotta know that God's timing is, more. It's it's not it's so mysterious that we do not know what God's plans are for us or anything like that. Because when you have the Holy Spirit, you know that you gotta see. When we have the Holy Spirit, we get God tells us to do certain things, and He tells us to comfort one another or preach to one another, and this is what I'm doing to you right now. And for you, I know that you're struggling with the fact that, well, the end of the world could not be in 2022, but, well, it could be. But let me tell you right now that the world, as it is now, will only get worse. And we could be taken out before that time, or we might not be. But I see the end of the world as it is right now, as people, of everyone in division and lukewarm and all that, they will literally put you in prison, even in America. So that's going to happen sometime in the future. That even Christians of all faiths and even all beliefs, and not only that, it's Christians in your family too, and it's all that. In America, will put you in prison. It's going to happen in your Christian system and all that, and even all around the world, in Africa, in Asia, in Europe, Australia, around the islands, everywhere. And that's not that people are thinking, well, it's happening right now. It's not. It's not. So, if your family members were to put you in prison because you're a Christian, and let's say this happened in the future, would you be strong enough to just to go to God and just say, all right, I'll deal with this? Or will you crumble, and would you be suicidal? I know this sounds horrible, but please stay with me. God is not, He's not, let's say, let people, He's not a God of people, God of fear. He is a God of comfort. And right now He's telling you, in His most interesting words, that you gotta deal with certain things, and you gotta be more. How do I say it? How do I say it? Like, you gotta be. The comforting words are, it's gonna be okay. You're gonna deal with certain things. I know you will. But as a young Christian, as I would say you are, just don't worry. Do not worry about anything. It's just gonna be all right. God's gonna put you in a peaceful path. You're already going to heaven, no matter what. And even if the OSAS believer is against you, they're not really with you. Matter of fact, they're not really OSAS believers at all. They're divided. They're actually people that are, the 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 sons of devil. The sons of the devil and daughters of the devil. Because their father's the devil. So you gotta remember, the wheat is basically being separated from the chaff. And, well, even if it is being separated from the chaff, you gotta know that some people are going to be separated. Some people are going to be weak. Some people are going to, figure out that this is not really what the prophecy really is, and they're going to separate themselves from certain Christians, and certain Christians are going to predict the times. It's really, and how messy it is right now, but for me, even though I don't consider myself right to do that, but I think we have God's timing left, as I should say. I cannot say how many years we have left, because I don't know. But I do know that we still have until a lot of Christians persecute each other and literally try to do horrible things to each other and put each Christian in jail for whatever the reason and purpose, and they'll do anything just to have each other killed. And even more brutal is when after the rapture happens, they'll be separated even further from people that are literally going to murder each Christian in the tribulation, and they're going to try to have every Christian divide against each other, and they're going to literally, basically want every Christian dead to the point of the true believer no longer existing. That's what the devil wants. So, in my humble opinion, it's not really what you think it is. It's what the devil wants to happen. He wants division. So there's a lot of brothers, and I mean a whole bunch of them in the Grace community that say, "Oh, the end is going to happen at a certain time," or "We wish the end would happen at a certain time." That's what a lot of brethren are doing right now. The devil wants you to, be stressed out about certain times. He wants you to stress out that, well, the times are so horrible that we'd wish we'd escape. But then, when it doesn't happen, we'll be so stressed out that when the time doesn't happen, there'll be a lot of suicides, and I don't want you to be part of it. That horrible death from what you did. From I don't want you to kill yourself no matter what. But there's going to be a lot of tribulation for those that are still on the earth, that have to deal with all this junk that we have on the earth right now, and many of them are going to be, hard pressed because the time isn't up. It's not really what God's timing is, and a lot of the brethren are thinking, well, okay, that's weird. Why is that not happening? Because, well, let me tell you why many Christians are thinking that's the end. Well, you gotta remember that they wish to escape tribulation, but it's not really escaping tribulation. We do not escape tribulation. We escape God's wrath. And let me tell you why that is. It's not... Let me explain this. It's not what we're escaping from all these horrible things that are happening to us. We're escaping all the horrible things that the people are doing to us. Let me explain. We're escaping the judgment about what God's going to do to people because, well, if the people are literally trying to do horrible things to Christians, God's going to be so angry about these people. And I don't say that we have a lot of time left for no reason. Why do I say that for no reason? Well, why would I? And I don't say that for no reason because well, we could have a lot of time left, and we could be shocked that, if people are saying, well, we have until 2022 or 2023 or whatever it is, those people ought to be ashamed of themselves, because we're not prepared for the future. And I'm preparing you for the future for a reason, because, well, again, if the rapture does happen right now, that's good. But then, if it doesn't happen, let me tell you something. You will not be prepared. You will be, really, stressed out. Even worse, there will be a lot of death, and it's going to be horrible that, again, we prepare and redeem the time because we don't know when the rapture is going to be. It's a mystery. And people say, "Oh, there's certain times it could happen in 2022 or 2030." But I'm not saying it could happen. I'm saying that we have a possibility that it's going to happen within a long time. When God told me, it's probably not going to happen at this generation. It's probably going to happen within the 100-year generation. I was not happy. I was kind of upset. But then I realized, wait a second. It's not going to happen at a certain time, I guess, so I'm going to occupy and redeem the time until the rapture happens. He told me that his timing is later. So what does that mean? Well, the thing is, certain events will happen, and they're already being prepared to happen. One of them, at least. And let me tell you one of the things that's going to be happening. Well, there's going to be a type of store going all over Massachusetts. It's going to be some sort of game store that has a computer on it. There's going to be an invention of a computer that has games all over it. So anyway, there's going to be, computer that has all games, and that's, cool. It's going to be, the size of a desk, maybe. And it's going to have all the files of the games that are current in the future. Alright. And you can even download all the games in the past. Oops. And, if you can do that for, a test drive for maybe $1 each, maybe 50 cents each, maybe 5 cents each because of how old it is. Who knows? So I don't know. I don't think it's 25 cents. So maybe 25, 50, or $1, depending on how old it is, or how in the future it is, and they do it for a certain time. Then would you know that that's how the company gets money as well? Well, let me tell you something very interesting. I get things in a certain way. You might get things in a certain way by God. Now, did you have any dreams that were not fulfilled? Not yet. Now, if you don't have dreams, I guess I don't know. But if you only have rapture dreams, then well, okay. But maybe some people will have other dreams, like events that will happen in their life, or maybe they dream about certain things that they, want to know about what's going to happen in the future. Pray that you have a dream about what will happen to you in the future. And if you have a dream that, let's say, proves that the future is going to be different than what you thought it was, there's going to be no rapture, then fine. So I know that we're both saved, but does that mean that we have to, attack each other? Well, again, some people think, some people think that if the world doesn't end by 2023, then God didn't make his promise. Most people think that it's going to be like the 80-year generation. Most of us think it's that way. But I also heard from God that it's going to be our generation minus some years. So maybe We could be out of here by the 2030s, maybe 2040s. Who knows? Obviously, 2050 is thinking away 2 years. So, I mean, 105 years is most likely going to happen, but that's between us and God. That 105 years is going to be the generation. So, minus 2 years, then the tribulation. So, I don't know. It's like, we do not have until 2040, right? But we could. So, it's really not up to us to decide whether or not the rapture is going to happen at a certain date. And let me tell you something very important. If we had until like 2050, we'd still be around, but we do not be able to take it, and we do, go to heaven. Because remember, God is willing that, that you preach the truth to everyone, and that you comfort one another with your words. And right now I'm comforting you that the rapture may not happen until a certain event happens. And that's, and my further comfort is that certain event is literally Christians, your family, and even the OSAS believers are putting you up into tribulation and just trying to kill you. And it's happening all over the world. It's not happening yet, but it's going to. And, there's going to be a whole lot of events. And I'm telling you that it's just for a reason, because not for any excuse for you to be stressed out, but, if you were to be stressed out about the fact that, God didn't tell you until a certain time it was going to happen, but then if it didn't happen, would that be considered a lie? So, this world is not really, no one can really decide when the world's going to end. No one. Only God can. And let me explain one more bit. We are fallen human nature. We do not know anything. We see a mirror very dimly lit. Now imagine looking at let's say a microwave. Let's look at yourself in the reflection of a microwave. If anything. Maybe look at yourself in the reflection of a television. How well do you see yourself? Matter of fact, can you imagine seeing anything worse? Because if you look at yourself in the television and imagine worse, that's how we see the situation around us. Because we cannot see anything. Let's say we turn the light off. I'm going to turn the light off, actually. And then I'm going to see myself in a reflection of a television. Gee, I can barely see myself, actually. I don't know what I look like. Again, that's how we see the future. That's how we see ourselves, in the spiritual sense. In the spiritual sense, we barely see anything at all. However, as blind as we are, as blind as sheep as we are, we still pray to God that we see what's going to happen maybe in the future. You gotta remember, God sees everything very clearly. He sees the future, He sees who we are inside, He sees everything. And not only does He see everything, He sees everything all at once. And He's perfect, He's all supreme, and there's no denying He knows everything and knows what's all in everyone's heart all at once. And for you, He knows your struggles. He knows my struggles. And if we were to see that the world would not end in 2022 or 2023 or not even in the 2020s, would that make us, any different? Of course not. It will make us more scared. However, we do not worry for the future. We do not look at the past. We just look at the present as it pushes on in the future. We just look at the present. Do not worry about the future, as the Bible says, because God has everything in control. And that's my words of comfort for you, that we do not worry for the future. Let God worry for the future for us. And let God take all of our guilt from the past, and maybe from the future too, and most likely from the future. Because let God worry for everything, and let us be, in the show, just looking at God in the show. He does everything, as a first story, as we look at the story, and we don't know what's going to happen in the story, but we don't live by the story because we have read the Bible. But when we look at the story and look at the play, God is the one that is in the play, just telling a story, and He will give us a story of our lives, and He will do wonderful things in our lives, because that's the perfect God we know. He heals us. He gives us salvation no matter what. Even if we don't have until 2200, which is extreme, I know. Even if we don't have until then, which I know is not unlikely, but again, even if we don't have until then, we'll still be faithful. Even if we don't have until, we get elderly, will we still be faithful? It may be a horrible message for you, but I know. But at least we have until, we have until things go down the drain and go basically go in flames on the earth. We have until things get we have until, let's say, we have until things get really bad. Because when things get really bad and people, it's not about, the weather events going horrible. It's not about the climate. It's about how people act. I know people are acting really bad right now and they're criminal, but that state is like I don't know, like 5 to 15% worse than it was in the 90s. More like 5%, but once it gets to the point where it goes to no return, I know it's going to be worse, but it's people are going to be acting so sinful in those times that in the future there's going to be a chance that the Christians will no longer exist, and God will have to intervene. When even Christians go against each other, like I said before, and do horrible things to us and kill us, that just means that we have to be patient and let God do His own work. Even if we get killed ourselves, God will intervene in the best time possible. And He will put His full wrath against us. Not against us, but He will put His full wrath against the world that are against us, I meant to say. So His full wrath is going to, completely destroy those who are, destroying humanity and doing all kinds of horrible things to us. It's not as bad as we think it is, actually. It's only going to get worse, I know, but, the real stressor point is, the real reason why we're so stressed out is not because the world's so evil. It's because the people in the ministry are saying that we only have a little bit of time. And then we think, well, we only have a little bit of time so I can rest. And then we get out of breath so easily because the race isn't being run properly, because there's people saying, oh, we only have a little bit of time. However, the real reason why we're so stressed out is because we think it's gonna get, we think that God's gonna take us out early, even though we have to be running the race and saying, well, we have to be strong warriors. That doesn't mean salvation that doesn't mean it's salvational matter, but it means that whatever we do, we have to be patient and we have to be strong against anything that attacks us. The end is probably going to happen, years from now. But if it doesn't, don't be surprised. And if it doesn't happen today or in this year, don't be surprised either. Because we do not know when the end is going to happen, like I said. And if the end does happen, let's say, in 2040, will it still hold on? Remember, those who are weak in Christ should not watch those who say the 2022 date or 2023 date for the end, because that just means that you're making yourselves weaker and more exposed to the enemy's attacks. So, in my final comment is, and before this video ends, the end is not certain for those who are older. However, we do know that it's going to get worse. It's going to take longer. It's going to be an interesting to find out what God thinks about how bad the world has to get, because one day it's going to get bad. It's going to get really bad for the Christian. And that day there will be many people taking their own lives because they couldn't take it anymore. Many people watching those end day people and end times people, they're going to be so stressed out by the horrible images of the end days that instead of realizing it was, let's pretend it was videos from the 80s and 90s, and they'd say, oh, it's happening today. That's what we're thinking right now. And the end is going to be so much worse. Weather events are going to be so weird that people are going to wonder what's going on, and people are going to turn to God. So many people are going to turn to God, but then they'll be killed. Even worse, there's going to be a time when no one turns to God. There's going to be a time when Christians are going to be killed. There's going to be a time when Christians kill each other. In that time, God's going to put up His full wrath against humanity. And when that happens, it's the religious Pharisees that get it the most. It may be those that say that the end is going to be in 2022. It just may be those who are selling their ministry for that kind of horrible thing. And these people are so corrupt even, and then they don't even know about it, that they're basically sacrificing the people to the devil. So I would not watch people that say the end is going to happen soon. It may be later. So don't worry about those who cannot harm your body, but worry about those who can harm your soul, especially those demons and even Jesus. Remember that, okay? I'll be done, okay?